Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Part of this is we're going to talk about, there's a handout that I gave to you about rivers and valleys. This is partially due in preparation for our drought field trip to Wadi Degla. What are the features of a river? Well, they begin as tiny streams in hills and mountains. As these streams flow towards the sea, they join to make up a river. Rivers can vary in size from very short to 1,000 kilometers long. We call the place where they begin, it's called a source, and tributaries are other streams that will eventually join the river. Occasionally as you walk along a river, you'll see that there'll be pools, and this is where water will collect in smaller, lower levels. The rivers can cut deep and form channels as it flows towards the sea. Some more features that make up a river are sometimes you'll see deep bends in the river, and these are called meanders. Waterfalls can be formed when it carves away over top of a rock. Good famous example would be from my home country, Niagara Falls. And we talked about the Angel Falls in South America some time ago. Gorges are narrow valleys that form as the river carves through the rock, and certainly there is a gorge close to my hometown called Lower Gorge, and you have to be very careful because it's very steep. Anyway, estuaries are the area where the tides, just as the river contacts the sea, that's called the mouth, and so they allow for the tides as they flow in and out to move up some distance up the mouth of the river. I want to talk about the source of the River Nile, one of the famous rivers in the world. It is considered the longest river, although I would say the Amazon, which is roughly over 7,400 kilometers in length, in South America is certainly the second longest river. The river starts initially as two different rivers. One is the Blue Nile, which rises out of the mountains in East Africa, and the other is the White Nile that originates from Lake Victoria. It flows over the Kalabega Falls into the Sud Marshes. These rivers meet up in Khartoum, the capital city of Sudan, and then it flows in a valley across the Sahara Desert, eventually emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. Some interesting facts about the river are that much of the water never reaches the sea. It either sinks into the ground or it evaporates into the air due to the hot desert temperatures. Prior to meeting the sea, it divides into small rivers and sort of forms a marshy triangle, and this is called the delta. Some river uses. Well, for thousands of years, and it's still today, both Egyptians and Sudanese farmers use river water for crop irrigation. Certainly the Nile is a source of life in the past, in the present, and will continue to do so in the future. As well, we know many tourists take cruises to visit the Nile Valley, and they can go see ancient temples and pyramids and tombs in Luxor, both the east and west coasts and and Aswan and the Great Abu Simbel in the south. The Aswan High Dam, was a great innovation, and it was created to help control floods, but also provides a great deal of electricity for Egyptians. So your writing task is basically to get familiar with vocabulary, and I'm going to ask you to make up, this is part of a literary or sort of literacy assignment. I want you to make up a story using vocabulary words such as source, tributary, channel, waterfall, meander, and mouth. You may want to make it that your main character is a floating twig that starts out at the source and the journeys that it discovers along the way to the sea. I ask you that you write this in your humanities notebook and follow proper sentence conventions, spelling, punctuation, etc. Okay, thank you.